Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our first episode of The World Citizen. This is a new show that's hosted by Eric Martindale of Newark, New Jersey.
Good evening. My name is Eric Martindale. Welcome to my new show, The World Citizen. First, I wish to give special thanks to our producer, Lydia Radin, and all the folks here at the Manhattan Neighborhood Network for allowing me to exercise my free speech. We will cover a variety of topics over the course of many shows. The topics selected will be issues regarding social justice, the oneness of mankind, the unity of faith and reason, and any issue affecting the spiritual, social, or economic progress of the world. What I'm going to do is read from some prepared remarks. The topic of my first show, this show, is the working class on Obamacare. Copies will be distributed to various public access channels and to other key people. My goal tonight is to present little-known information to the public on the Patient Care and Affordable Care Act of 2010, otherwise known as Obamacare. I will present the information in a non-biased and non-political format. There will be no personal attacks, no political attacks. I will not even raise my voice, and there will be no recommendation on who to support or who to vote for. This show is about information. I will provide information to the public that really hasn't been heard before. I will explain why Obamacare is an economic assault on the working class. Let me be clear. I am not here to hash over any of the usual arguments made by the Republicans. We are not going to debate whether the plan is socialist or a tax. We are not going to debate if government should be shrunk or expanded. We are not going to debate if the plan is good for health care or if doctors like it. We are not going to discuss the $1 trillion annual federal deficit or the solvency of Medicare and Medicaid, and we're not going to debate whether or not the plan is an intrusion of government on people's personal medical decisions. All those arguments may or may not be correct. They are less important than the devastating financial impact that the act will have on most of the 50 million Americans currently without health insurance. This is what matters to the working class. I'm talking about a financial impact so severe that millions of working class people will be forced out of their apartments, or in some parts of the country, trailer parks, to become dependents on family and friends. The Affordable Care Act is a calamity for single mothers looking for that child support payment, and for landlords who want tenants that are able to pay their rent on time every month. The act will cripple consumer spending for nearly 50 million Americans and spiral many of them deeply into credit card debt. You haven't heard any of this before because it simply isn't the perspective of the opposition, meaning the political right. Their finger isn't on the pulse of the working class, and neither is the Democrats, or the plan, the act, would not have been written the way it has been. If you or a close family member or friend is one of the 50 million Americans who don't currently have health insurance, listen carefully.
Mr. Martindale, before you tell us about this, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you. I am a home improvement contractor. I'm 47 years old. I was born and raised in Hackensack, New Jersey. I currently live in Newark, New Jersey. I am a registered independent. Sorry, not Republican. For most of my life, I've been involved in various initiatives, various causes. When I was in college at Stockton State College in Pomona, New Jersey, I ran the student union for 1 year. After college, I returned to Hackensack. I organized an environmental organization. We stopped a townhouse development project. We worked on it for 9 years, and we persuaded the County of Bergen to purchase and preserve the land as a nature preserve. I later advocated for a trolley in Hackensack, for downtown revitalization and the business alliance, and even for a walkway along the Hackensack River on public and private land. I bought a condo in an urban area through an affordable housing program in 1996, and I served on the board of directors. We persuaded a 2/3 majority of residents to vote to tax ourselves $5,000 a unit to upgrade the building. And for most of the last 5 years, I've been active with the tenants movement in Newark, and I even organized 29 families to do a 6-month rent strike.
Well, that doesn't sound like the bio of a Republican activist or anyone who would be against Obamacare.
Well, it gets better. You know, I believe in the equality of all people, all races, all ethnic groups, all faiths. I moved from the suburbs to Newark, New Jersey, and I live in a heavily minority neighborhood. Newark is a good central location for my business, which is Confident Home Remodelers, right here. I can serve homeowners from Bergen County to Union County and Morris County to Hudson County. That's 4 million people. Newark is where you need to be if you want to be a home improvement contractor in New Jersey. What else about me and my beliefs? You know, I'm not big on military spending, and I would rather see the nations of the world form a global alliance to advance peace and economic prosperity. You know, for 2 years I've been writing a book entitled The Unity of Faith and Reason in Western Civilization, and that's due out in just a few months. I'm real excited about that. And, you know, politically, I'm an independent. I have to admit, I was a devout supporter of Al Gore in 2000, and I never really liked, you know, W. Bush for his entire 8 years. As far as health care is concerned, surprise, I'm not even against national health care if it wasn't designed as an assault against the working class. Health care costs are way too high, and that has to be addressed first, or any national plan will bankrupt the whole country.
Okay, so why are you concerned with the president's health care plan then?
Okay, well, let me preface it this way. My governor, Chris Christie, recently said that the people of New Jersey are truth tellers. They are not afraid to tell the truth. Well, he nailed that one. That is exactly what I'm doing. And since neither political party can or will represent the working class, I'm going to do it. Me, the world citizen. Today, I am the voice of the working class. Please keep an open mind. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Point number one, the working class can't afford to purchase health insurance. Most working class people are living paycheck to paycheck. They make just too much money to qualify for government handouts. These are working class, not poverty people, and not enough money to survive. None of these people have houses, at least in New Jersey. If their income increases just a little bit, the priority, almost 100% of the time, is to move to an apartment in a better neighborhood. Basically, they're just buying a little bit of safety, maybe an extra bedroom, or a slightly better school system for their kids. The financial struggle goes on at the same level. Only the quality of life changes a tiny bit. This is the reality of the working class in every city in America. Just paying the rent is a struggle wherever the working class are currently living. Less than half are lucky enough to have health insurance. These are the people who will be mandated to go out and purchase health insurance. My estimate is that half of the residents of Newark will be hit by this, and 99% of them have no clue how it will affect them. Obamacare sets the annual health insurance cost at roughly 3% to 8% of working class income, meaning pre-tax income. It comes to thousands of dollars in expenses every year, even with the subsidy. The working class doesn't have the money for this, thousands of dollars. If the rent goes up each year by $40 or $50 a month, that's a crisis for many people. Multiply that by 10, and you have Obamacare, even after the built-in subsidy based on income. What working class family living paycheck to paycheck and barely able to pay their rent can come up with hundreds of dollars a month for health insurance, even $100? is an impossible burden. And this plan comes from the Democrats, who are supposed to represent the working class. What planet are these guys from? Our elected officials are completely disconnected from the day-to-day struggle of the working class. And the Republicans, they are no better. Or they'd be talking about the financial stress of Obamacare on the working class. Wake up, folks. If you don't have insurance, Obamacare is no different from your rent going up $500 a month. You have a new cost of about $400, $500 a month, depending on your family size. I've been trying to tell uninsured people in Newark about this. Bless you.
Thank you.
They don't want to believe me. They all support Obamacare out of blind trust for their beloved president. And you know what? He's a great guy. He's a good family guy. But this whole plan is just wrong. They don't want to believe me. All right? Here's the 3 responses I get. 1, rich people are going to pay for it. 2, government is going to pay for it. And 3, my boss is going to be forced to buy me health insurance. Wrong, wrong, wrong. If you don't have health insurance, you, the working class person, are going to be forced to go out and pay for it. You are being forced to incur a new monthly cost, hundreds of dollars per month. Hello, can you afford it? Listen up, folks. This is an epiphany. Obama is not helping the working class with this plan. The only bosses who will be caught by Obamacare are those with 50 or more employees, and most of those already offer health insurance. One statistic I heard was that 3 million people out of 50 million without health insurance will get health insurance because their boss is going to be forced to get it. That's it. 3 million out of 50 million. The Democrats are completely clueless on this, and the Republicans are so wrapped up with their ideologies that they're totally missing the boat. The working class people don't have the money for their bills as it is. Millions are seriously in debt. And now add this new mandated monthly personal expense. The stress on the household budget will be catastrophic. People will be forced to move to worse neighborhoods or give up their dream to move up. Others will give up their car. The financial stress will cause relationship problems, domestic violence, and even a rise in crime. It's all a matter of social justice, and it must be stopped. I know this personally. I was once married and had 2 preschool children. I dealt with the relentless and furious demands from my wife to upgrade our housing status, to get that better neighborhood, to get that house with a yard and a dog, and to never be happy no matter what we achieved. There was always the next level. It destroyed my marriage. It brought me down. It destroyed me as a person. My life was completely in shambles, and it's taken over 10 years to recover. I know how important that dream is, the dream of the working class, to move up instead of down, to move to that better place, to get an apartment with that extra bedroom, to get into that better public school district. I can't sit back and let millions of families have that dream taken away, to have hope taken away by the audacity of Obamacare. Or worse, to spiral into hopeless debt because the money simply doesn't exist to pay the rent, health insurance, and put food on the table. I know how many marriages it will impact. I know how many children will be affected by this. Been there, done that. Obamacare claims to have the answer. Those not purchasing insurance will pay a tax of 1% of their income. But here's the real story. It's 1% the first year, 2% the second year, 3% the third year, and so on, until it's cheaper to go out and buy insurance than to pay the tax. So each year, the screw gets tighter and tighter. Yes, you are getting the screw tightened.
So who's most affected just who is the working class with no insurance?
Okay, thank you. Let's outline who's being hit by this. Construction workers, small manufacturing workers, landscape workers, restaurant workers, except the big chains, employees of mom and pop retail stores, employees of small offices, even employees of doctors, lawyers, architects, insurance brokers. If it's a solo practitioner or a small firm, most of them are not offering health insurance. Most businesses with under 20 workers, and many between 20 and 49, are not offering it, and they will not be required to offer it under Obamacare. And who else is being hit? Anyone who loses their job for whatever reason. And don't tell me about COBRA. The whole COBRA plan is venomous and toxic like the snake it was named after. Who has the money to go out and buy insurance under COBRA when they've just lost their job? They don't even have money to pay their rent. It's a crazy plan. Who else is being hit? Small entrepreneurs, like myself. I'm a solo contractor. Obamacare is a giant disincentive for anyone thinking of leaving their employment to start their own business. And then, as soon as you start your business, you have to incur a giant cost of going out and buying your own health insurance. A lot of entrepreneurs are going to start their business, or they'll wind up just folding it because it's too much of a financial burden. And I guess, maybe that's a Republican argument, so you got me on that one. But here's another one. Obamacare is a giant disincentive to leave the welfare system for people who are on welfare. Let's say you get a $9 an hour job offer, but it's a small company with 10 employees, and they're not offering health insurance. So government is making you go out and spend the equivalent of about $5 an hour to purchase health care. Who can live on what's left? $4 an hour. They might as well stay on welfare. Who thought of this thing? Who? It just gets worse the more I learn. Point number 2, there will be a crisis for child support and landlords. Landlords will be hurt real bad. Tenants will be so stressed financially, having to go out and buy health insurance, that they will increasingly fall behind in their rent payments, and they will increasingly move out to get cheaper apartments. The entire supply-demand equation for the rental market will be thrown into chaos. Rents for new tenants will have to come down, which further encourages old tenants to move to get cheaper rent somewhere else. Landlords can't afford that. Many will go bankrupt, and no one's going to want to build apartment buildings under that economy. And the entire child support system will be affected. Fathers won't be able to pay child support, and mothers won't be getting that check that they deserve and need. This is also a matter of social justice. I don't do politics, but I've been doing social justice all my life, and no one's going to stop me. The impact on the child support system is especially severe because fathers with child support court orders gravitate into self-employment situations.
Why is that?
Well, that way the government can't take the child support from your paycheck before you get your paycheck. That's one of the main reasons why I started my contracting company. I couldn't bear having the government controlling my life by taking that check from my paycheck as if I'm a deadbeat who can't otherwise pay. I write that child support check myself. And yes, I do pay my child support. I refuse to have the government write my personal checks. It is an unbearable assault against my masculinity. I am a man. I am in control of my personal finances, and I will write my own checks. I will write my child support checks, not have the state do it for me. Here in New Jersey, they actually put you on probation as if you are a criminal the same day you are registered with the court system to pay child support. I even had to report to the county jail to be photoed and fingerprinted as if I had committed a crime. It's all part of the government system in New Jersey to break fathers down psychologically, to treat you like garbage, and to label you as a criminal. Government intimidates fathers. It's very aggressive. It's an abuse of power, and Governor Christie isn't doing a thing about it. Where's that guy, John Stossel, when you need him? Now you have all these fathers who are writing their own child support checks and trying to pay their rent and their bills, and now they're hit with this health care. Nobody appreciates the financial crisis we face, which is deadbeats and rotten people, whether we're paying our child support or not. People think a white guy like me is incapable of understanding what it's like to be an oppressed minority. I got news for you. Fathers in the child support system are the most oppressed, abused, scorned, and unrepresented minority group in America. There are no constituencies hit harder by Obamacare than fathers who pay child support and the mothers and children who rely on that check coming in here. The child support system is ground zero for the disaster known as Obamacare. Now I'm being told I have to give another 8% of my pre-tax income to purchase health insurance. Where, Mr. President, does that money come from? Mr. President, you are not taking my money. This money goes to pay my child support. You can't have any of it. Your health care plan is DOA, dead on arrival. None of us working class people have it. That's why we're working class. Hello? If we had the money, we'd be middle class. And by the way, most of the middle class have great jobs with benefits like health insurance. Having a job with health insurance is the main difference between the working class and the middle class. So really, it is the working class that is targeted by Obamacare. And that's why the administration wants amnesty for millions of illegal aliens, to bring them into the health insurance system, to force them to contribute as well. And, the Republicans, they haven't figured that out yet either.
Salient points. Keep going.
Earth the President, do you understand the working class has no money to buy health insurance? I am doing this for every father in America who has to pay child support, and for every other working class person struggling paycheck to paycheck. Now, let's move on to the impact on consumer spending. In order to attempt to come up with the money, upwards of 50 million people, according to the Census Department, will be eliminating all discretionary consumer spending. No eating out, no purchasing consumer goods, no vacations, no buying a new car, no signing home improvement contracts. They have no choice, or they will spiral into catastrophic credit card debt. Probably some people will do that too. Government has decided that up to 9.5% of everyone's income is now going towards health insurance. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for making this purchasing decision for all of us. You are so much smarter than all of us. Thank you again. Now, all of that money will be going to insurance companies instead of powering the consumer economy. Thousands of dollars a year from tens of millions of people. This is going to ripple through the entire economy in a way that even the Republicans don't understand. Guess what happens when tens of millions of people eliminate most or all of their consumer spending? It's a well-known economic term that starts with an R.
Recession.
Thank you, Lydia. We've seen this before. Banks are slamming consumers with 19, 29, and even 39% interest on credit cards. Half of Americans have credit card debt, and the average debt is $7,000. And most of those people got that debt not through spending crazily, but literally just buying food, putting gas in the car, because there was no other money. You have to use a credit card. Half of all Americans are spending $150 or more a month on credit card interest, plus crazy bank fees. That's money not being spent on the consumer economy, and that's why we are struggling to get out of the recession. Everyone's money is going to the banks. Now, with Obamacare, even more money will be going somewhere else, in this case, to insurance companies. I mean, they just decide where the money goes. All right? It's healthy consumers aged 27 to 47 that power the consumer economy. And these are the very people hit hardest by Obamacare. They just zeroed in exactly on Generation X, age 27 to 47. Why not? The boomers have been looking down on Generation X forever. And that's exactly who's being hit the hardest. It's just unbelievable. And yes, our president is a baby boomer. You can't make this up, folks. We live in a capitalist society. It works by people spending money on things other than interest and insurance and income tax, the three deadly I's. Reduce the three deadly I's and the economy will take off like a rocket. Could I actually be right? This guy from New Jersey, a 47-year-old home improvement contractor? Listen, folks, I'm personally in the trenches trying to survive. And I'm an entrepreneur. I am literally living the economy at its most fundamental level, both as a consumer and a producer, because I own a small business. I'm living both sides of it. And I'm not living it at the Mitt Romney level. I'm living both sides of the economy at the lowest, most fundamental level. Yes, I am right. Yes, I do see it. I don't need to be an Ivy League economist or some rich politician looking at the economy from the outside. I am living immersed inside it, and I see it. I see three things. One, the working class is going to be devastated with a huge new cost that they can't afford. Even $100 a month is impossible, and this is many times that. Two, landlords and the child support system will suffer greatly because people won't have the money for all of their monthly obligations. And three, the entire consumer economy will take a hit because other types of spending will decrease dramatically. Again, the money's going to the banks with interest, and now it's going to be going to insurance companies for health insurance. So there's no money left to spend and buy things. And that's the economy, spending, buying. This isn't communism. This is a capitalist country. Let it work. The bottom line, none of the Republican ideological statements make sense to the average working class person struggling to survive and trying to decide who to vote for. They collectively label all of those arguments as things which benefit rich people. They just tune it out, done. No one's even listening to all that stuff on Fox News. All the rich people, Republicans and Democrats, who have bought their seats in Congress and the Senate by spending their own millions on their election campaigns, are completely disconnected, cut off from the economic plight of the working class. They don't understand what's going on out here. I've done my best to try to explain these points in a professional manner. I haven't played up to either political party, which is easy to do because I'm independent and I really see problems with all of them. I offer no recommendation on who to vote for. I've instead informed the public of the critical impact that Obamacare has on the working class. I want these problems fixed even if the Democrats prevail in November. If you are working class and without insurance, be concerned. If you are a mother receiving child support or a landlord receiving rent checks, be concerned about the money flow. If you have a close friend or family member who's going to be affected by this, be especially concerned for their well-being, for their ability to survive on their own. Thank you, and may God bless humanity.
And if you have any questions, you can email Mr. Martindale at worldcitizennj@gmail.com. Thank you.